And these are the signs of the New World Order. This reads, it is true that without the population or bomb problem, the elect would use some other excuse to bring about the New World Order. They have plans to bring about things like earthquakes, war, the Messiah, and extraterrestrial landing and economic collapse. They have plans to bring about things like earthquakes.
New images capture the moment a massive 8.8 earthquake struck eastern Russia. In the hours that followed, more than 100 aftershocks were reported, as well as this major eruption, the glow of lava spewing from the tallest volcano in all of Eurasia. Tuesday's quake sending shockwaves across the Pacific, with Hawaii and the entire U.S. West Coast in the path of a potentially dangerous tsunami.
Welcome back. We are following some breaking news out of New Jersey. That's where another earthquake is being reported. Antoine Lewis is in the newsroom now with more on this. Antoine, it seems like we just had one not too long ago.
Over the weekend, from what producer Catherine Barner was just telling us. But Bianca, this is all unfolding right now. We started getting discussions, and Tina Savasio, our sports anchor, ran out of the room saying that she got a call from relatives. And then Mio Abe, our planning manager, actually felt it in our newsroom. But just to let everyone know, apparently around 12:11, so within the last 20 minutes or so, the geological survey, the U.S. geologicals analysts are telling us that we experienced in this area a 2.7 magnitude earthquake, 2.5 kilometers southwest of Hillsdale, New Jersey.
War.
Let's now shift our focus to Russia, where Russian President Vladimir Putin has sent out a direct nuclear warning to U.S. President Donald Trump. Russia has formally withdrawn from a treaty that basically prohibited deployment of intermediate-range missiles. And the announcement came from the Russian Foreign Ministry, which said that Moscow no longer considers itself obligated by the limits it had voluntarily followed under the now defunct Intermediate-Range Nuclear Forces Treaty, also known as the INF Treaty. And according to the Russian government, America plans to station intermediate-range missile systems in both Europe and Asia, and that prompted this decision. The ministry's statement emphasized that the conditions which had justified Russia's self-imposed restrictions no longer exist. And the development comes amid the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war. Overnight, Russia attacked the railway hub of Lozova in Kharkiv region with 34 Shahed drones. Ukraine claims at least 3 people have died, dozens injured in the Russian attack. While on the ground, the Russian army claims to have seized a new village in Ukraine's central Dnipropetrovsk region. The region is a significant industrial and economic hub, remember, and plays a crucial role in Ukraine's energy production, trade, military capabilities.
Israel and Iran have traded strikes for a 4th day. Israel says it attacked the headquarters of Iran's state television today, which was captured during a live broadcast. The Israeli military had earlier warned people in the capital of Tehran to evacuate. Now, that strike came after Iran fired another wave of missiles at Israel, killing at least 8 civilians, according to the Israeli military. CBS News senior foreign correspondent Holly Williams is in Erbil, Iraq, with the latest. Holly?
Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu justified his country's attack on Iran by saying that the Iranian nuclear program is a, quote, clear and present danger to Israel. Now, Iran has denied any intention of building a nuclear bomb, but it is engaged in enriching uranium, and Israel's been striking sites where that's taking place. We can see the damage very clearly in satellite imagery, and Israel's also killed several of Iran's nuclear scientists. Yet some experts say that unless Israel can take out the Fordow nuclear site, a fortified location which is buried deep inside a mountain, then this war will have been in vain.
The Messiah.
Amazing. Real atmospheric event in Alabama. Earlier this month, B formed light in the shape of Jesus.
They're deeper in the clouds. It's so hard to look at.
Pastor, they're real clear in here. Look.
Yeah, you can see them, can't you?
Look at that.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
You have to put that on Facebook so we can all get it.
I'm going to. I definitely am. Praise you, Jesus. Oh, I've never seen nothing like it in my life. Praise God.
Look way over.
Oh, my God!
An extraterrestrial landing.
Perhaps we need some outside universal threat. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
But then I realized in a paper that I wrote with two colleagues that in fact it's moving on a very special trajectory. It's aligned with the orbit of the Earth around the Sun. There is a special plane that it's aligned with. The chance for that happening at random is 0.2%, very small. But then even along that path that it's moving, it has several interesting coincidences. For example, it will arrive closest to the Sun when the Earth is on the opposite side of the Sun. So the Sun will actually eclipse it. We won't be able to observe it. It's coming in the opposite direction to the motion of the Earth around the Sun, so we won't be able to launch any rockets that would intercept it, because it would move 3 times faster than our best rockets. It also will come extremely close to Jupiter, Mars, and Venus. The chance of that happening is 1 in 20,000 if you randomly arrange for an arrival time. So the arrival time is very well selected. And also it's coming from the direction of the center of the Milky Way galaxy, where there are lots of stars in that region of the sky. So it was difficult to detect it. That's why we found it only in July this year. And at this point, we can't intercept it from Earth. And the question is, was this trajectory designed? Because the chance of it having all these coincidences is really small. We will find out. If in the coming month or two, it doesn't look like a comet, doesn't have a plume of dust and gas around it, I would start getting worried. And then, when it gets closest to the Sun, that's the best place for a spacecraft to slow down with the help of the gravity from the Sun. And if we don't see it coming from the other side of the Sun as expected, the stock market may crash.
And economic collapse.
A stunning economic alarm bell is ringing across the United States. In just 5 months, nearly 7 lakh jobs have vanished in America, which is a staggering 80% spike in layoffs. And we're just halfway through the year. From Silicon Valley to Washington, D.C., American companies are cutting deep faster than anyone saw coming. Through May this year, employers have slashed 696,309 jobs. That's nearly double the figure for the same period last year. But here's the real shocker. It's just about 65,000 jobs away from matching the entire layoff count of 2024. You see, big tech companies like Amazon, Google, Meta, and Microsoft are going lean. So far in 2025, over 74,700 tech jobs have been axed. Microsoft alone is preparing another wave of layoffs this time, targeting its Xbox division.
This morning, a top economist warns the U.S. is on the precipice of a recession with consumer spending flatlining. This after a troubling jobs report, the unemployment rate rising to 4.2% in July, with the economy adding only 73,000 jobs. The Bureau of Labor Statistics also revising the job numbers for May and June, saying there were 258,000 fewer jobs created than previously thought. On Friday, President Trump abruptly fired the nonpartisan head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, Erica McIntyre, claiming without providing evidence that the weaker-than-expected jobs report was manipulated.
I think our numbers were wrong,
just like I thought our numbers were wrong before the election.
The jobs report comes as consumers brace for new tariffs set to take effect this week. The prices of some everyday goods, including coffee, fruits, vegetables, and medicine, all expected to rise. Clothing and shoes expected to go up too.
The tariffs are definitely a little scary, so I'm trying to get everything ahead of time.
A recent report shows the tariffs implemented by President Trump are the highest in nearly a century and will cost the average family about $2,400 this year.
Rising housing costs and inflation are leading to more people living on the street. The Washington Post reports homeless shelters are seeing an increase in the number of people looking for a place to stay. Wait lists for some shelters have doubled over the past few months. Economics correspondent for the Washington Post, Abba Batray, joins me now. And Abba, we thank you for your time. We know the median was more than $2,000 a month in May. How does that compare historically? And what's the relationship between rent prices and homelessness?
That's absolutely right. Median rents are above $2,000 for the first time ever. And we're starting to see, huge astronomical rent increases across the country, 20, 30, sometimes even 40% in some cities. And what that means for renters is that, when their lease comes up for renewal or when they look for a new place to live, many of them are finding that they're simply priced out. And even if they have money to afford something, they often, they run into long waiting lists and can't find what they need in time, which leaves them without a place to live.
Well, the lack of affordable housing is forcing more Americans to live out of their cars. A recent study found the number of people residing in their vehicles surged by 46% over the past year. The problem is more prominent in urban areas, with expensive housing markets fueling the change. However, the practice is illegal in many U.S. cities. A recent survey by the National Law Center on Homelessness and Poverty found prohibitions against vehicle residency have more than doubled over the last decade. Advocates say those who find themselves living out of their vehicles often have trouble accessing washing facilities or even locating a safe place to park.
When you become homeless, you kind of revert into this solitude. It's humiliating. I find especially the women, we don't say anything to anyone about it. My name is Judith, and I've been living in my car at 72 years old since the end of February.
I live in the storage unit because it's cheap in comparison to an apartment. Living here is actually really comfortable. I get a lot of things that I need and want to get done here. I can exercise. I can use the bathroom. I can play music anywhere in the unit. It's climate controlled in here, so it's nice and warm. This unit is 24 hours, so I can come here anytime I want, stay here as long as I need to. We can take naps if we need to and go to sleep.
The elect would use some other excuse to bring about the New World Order.
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
Now, as you can see, they have a checklist. These are some of the things they may use or will use or are using to bring in the New World Order. And as you can also see, this list is being checked off. From the economic collapse, check. War, check. The Messiah, Research Project Bluebeam, check. What else? The economic collapse, check. And there's many other things that's coming. Look at this in the background. This was on CNN. What does it say? Trump's New World Order. And this was around his first presidency. I caught it on television. Oh, and by the way, They got you thinking anytime someone tries to expose them and tell the truth about what they're doing and their plans, that it's a conspiracy theory. There's no such thing as a conspiracy theory. There's only truth and lies. They created the term conspiracy theory to make you believe that everything about them is a lie. So therefore they can hide their evil doings and you won't trust anyone exposing them.
Conspiracy theory, okay, coined long before JFK assassination. Go lower to take a look at the article. Okay, claim the terms conspiracy theories were created by CIA agency following APS assessment. False recorded use of the phrase conspiracy theory dates back to 1863, and it was notably invoked reports following the 1881 shooting. Then President James Garfield, more than 60 years before the CIA was established. An academic review of the digital library found the term conspiracy theorist has been published at least in the last. What do you say to something like this where they're quick to jump on it to say CIA didn't come up with the conspiracy theory?
You mean that they're calling it a conspiracy theory?
Yes.
That conspiracy theory came from the CIA?
Yes.
Go read the Church and Pike documents. The Church and Pike Committee was the most effective House and Senate oversight of the U.S. intelligence agencies. They received death threats. They were followed and intimidated. They came up with it. So it's not like we pulled it out of thin air. The Church and Pike Committee discovered not just the heart attack gun, which is a real thing, by the way. They discovered a gun that they could shoot somebody and make it look like they had a heart attack, fake an autopsy. But they discovered that the Central Intelligence Agency, via Operation Mockingbird, a real thing, used the term conspiracy theory and got it into public opinion as a way to try to discredit dissident opinion. It's in the Church and Pike documents, so people can read it for themselves.
When we are successful, and we will be. 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 We have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.